All right, y'all. Bearder Bros Golf Show back at it again. I am Rod.
I'm Marcus. What was that?
What?
I'm coming straight out like Scottie now. I'm coming straight out like Scottie now.
Scheffler to tie. This will be his first birdie today.
What's that? Look at that. I was kind of excited coming off the Solheim Cup because it was also very good. The President's Cup has not been an exciting event up to this point. It's pretty much been a foregone conclusion that the U.S. would mud stomp the internationals, but we were breaking down the matchups the week prior, and we saw that there were going to be some tight matchups all in all. And I even saw a post, and we'll get into it a little bit later, that ultimately the internationals only lost one, the Americans only won one more hole over the entire length of the competition outside of their internationals, but it was very much lopsided despite that kind of even play. So that was an interesting thing. So we're gonna talk about Mike Weir's decision making, particularly on Saturday. So I know we were going back and forth. It's exciting. Just overall, high level, what'd you think about the President's Cup this year?
Overall, I mean, I tried not to miss any of it. It was just some of the best golf, some of the best competition we've seen all year, and it didn't take much to get either side fired up and very passionate about the event. So I just think it's laying the brickworks for what could be a really good situation going forward for at least the next decade because both teams have very young players, young cores. So I think this rivalry or whatever they have got ignited. It's definitely going to be good for these next five events that they have coming up. 2026, 2028. The guys are buddy buddy outside of it, but when they get inside the ropes for the President's Cup week, you can clearly tell that they are for their side. And that is very much so just invigorating all the way through the game of golf. So I'm very
Yeah,
happy about it. I'm glad it's going on.
they were locked in. I'm hoping that some of that passion rolls over to the Ryder Cup next year, which that one always is.
Yeah.
But in the past years they've been kind of buddy buddy, but with some separation. We'll see how things go. Just as a side note, looks like John Rahm is making his push to get back into the Ryder Cup. He had to play in a handful of DP World Tour events to be able to make that happen for next year. So he played in the Spanish Open this past weekend, and we'll touch on that near the end of the show as well. But he, finally made a serious push to make sure that he could not be excluded from the Ryder
Yeah.
Cup for next year. Tom Kim, man. So I had a few videos queued up, and the first few days of the tournament, Tom Kim was ultimately in the mix of all conflict, and that's through high level play, that's through some
Yeah.
fist bumps and yelling. So day one, him and Scottie were going against each other, and there was a putt that was sunk by Tom Kim of distance, with some, activity and excitement behind it. And then we have Scottie Scheffler coming right behind him and, you know, asking, like, as you came onto the show, what was that? So I have this video
Hmm.
queued up. We'll play it. Hopefully, because I pulled it from TikTok, the copyright gods don't come strike me down. So let's get this rolling.
Putting at 8. Tom Kim trying to fight back. Got it to go. They need something like that. They need a spark. Scheffler to tie. This will be his first birdie today.
What's
Look
that?
at that. Whoa. Scheffler showing some emotion as well.
So I think I made, like you, what do you call it? Tiki talk. I think
Tiki
for
Taki.
me, I think the best thing that I'm seeing of this 2024 year, and we've talked about this earlier and multiple times, is that we're seeing a new side of Scottie Scheffler. I mean, we've known him as
Yeah.
this really laid back, humble guy, but we're getting to see his competitive side where the juices are flowing and that he really has this passion to not lose. He's
Yeah,
had tons of wins in 2024. Gold medal, the Masters again, had a baby, 7 tournaments, the Tour Championship, and you see that he still loves getting out there playing golf. He said, I saw an interview off to the side where he said he's figured out his practice routine where he can go in, get his work done, be good at what he does, and then go home and have that balance with the family. You see the family's been traveling with him quite a bit this year. So
yeah,
what do you think about this new side of Scottie Scheffler that we really hadn't seen a whole bunch of before 2024?
yeah. I think as it comes to Scotty, we kind of saw it with that little excerpt that he had with the interview talking about how much he loves to compete and things like that. As far as when he's back at home with the buddies, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna find a way to get a handicap and let them know that they get this many strokes because it's something to work for when we're coming back into the crib, and I still want to play with the guys." So I think that was the beginning of it, and this is really just kind of like the apex of it, and hopefully, he'll actually carry this over to the Ryder Cup as well because again, he didn't really have the best performance the first time through the President's Cup, and then he came through and he showed up a lot. Still had some moments where he didn't really look like the number one golfer, but but it's just like what we were talking about. He was competing his butt off, and Hideki Matsuyama really just did what he was supposed to do on Sunday singles, and tried to make a statement. Clearly just wasn't enough, but I think Scotty will take it in stride as well. And I think that's why it's good to see him with this side as well, because I think he'll be able to bounce back if he is to get humbled, if he is to have one of those rounds where it's like, I didn't have my best, I kind of, see where it choked it. But I think this is a side of Scotty that a lot more people need to be introduced to for sure.
Yeah, well, I think that's part of why Tom Kim is experiencing some kind of blowback and criticism regarding him being so vocal all week and then not necessarily having the record to kind of respond to the noise that he was talking. So I think there's some
Right.
criticism as a result of that. But, you have to be really sure about yourself. And Tom Kim's a really fine player. I mean, he had to have the
Yeah.
2024. Hopefully, this also springboards him as well to have a better bounce back 2025 and just kind of something to strive for. And I also mentioned in that TikTok that Scotty Scheffler and Tom Kim, have become close as both reside in Dallas. And, Tom Kim has spent Thanksgivings with the Schefflers. So it's been an
Yeah.
interesting relationship and to see them go at it. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? Competition where you can, you know, go head to head, talk that crap, and then break bread at the end of the day, pound it out, bump shoulders and call it a day, and it's all
Yeah.
good. So, but you could just tell they were definitely serious about it. Day one, the U.S. went up 5-0 in the four ball competition. No surprise, really, because we saw that the U.S. just as a one on one head to head that they just had the better golfers, right? And so when they're
Right.
really essentially playing best ball first in the hole, that it's a high likelihood that they would dominate that. Then you
Right.
turn around on day two when you have foursomes and they're playing alternate shot, and the U.S. just again maybe that individualistic mindset doesn't come out and play as well, ends up losing 5-0. So we go into day three tied up, which was surprising
Right.
because you're thinking, okay, dang, get a couple of points, but to have it back even going into Saturday, which
A little shocking.
a little bit shocking. What'd you think going into day three? Were you also shocked by the result that they couldn't even scratch out a point or two?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, coming back and seeing 5-5 was definitely very eye-opening. I absolutely was like, you know what, if they get 3 out of the 5, that's cool. It's 7-3, we'll be all right. them boys came back and they won in even more dominant fashion. They won 6-5, 7-6. I mean, that's just when you kind of think like, I think we're in for something here. And then also that's where you get the whole they're winning one less hole overall than us because they beat us so bad in foursomes that day. It just seemed like it. I mean, it really did seem like that, bro. They busted our ass. When they won, they won.
And it puts you on your heels going into Saturday, possibly thinking, okay, when we have to play foursomes again, that we might be able to see, we might have a similar result. Luckily, the U.S. was able to really battle back and hold on. So going into the singles, as we've already talked about, the internationals just head for head needed to be within 2 points, I want to say. That would have, yeah. I agree, because you're gonna lose out of those 12 head-to-head matchups. There's just really a low likelihood of you dominating, right? So you theoretically, yes, but once you go down 4 points, it's over. It's a virtual certainty that you really have no chance going into Sunday. And you texted me pretty early on in the Sunday, like, hey, the U.S. came out focused. I don't want to jump ahead too far. I do want to talk about Mike Weir's decision to not change up the lineups on Saturday. Played the same same matchup morning and afternoon, and it didn't pay off. Right? He swung for the fences. They didn't end up pulling ahead in the matches and the point situation. So they go into Sunday tired and also a little bit deflated because they weren't able to pull off the ultimate gamble. Even though they gave it the good old college try and really pushed the limits, but I think there's a lot of criticism to go around regarding that decision. I mean, yeah, part of this is running off adrenaline, but a long day on Saturday where they were saying they had 4 a.m. wake up calls to get them out, get them up ready, get ready to go out there and play those 2 sessions. What do you think about that decision? Do you ever think that within the same day you should not change up the lineups and have 4 players sitting all day?
I mean, that's touchy. I mean, that's a field call. But I think a lot of the times they already have this stuff planned out. I don't know if they're ever just gonna change it on the fly like that. But I think the thing that I'm not really that I don't know, Rod. I'm not really that affected by what he did Saturday. I'm more disappointed in his Sunday. His Sunday, bro, like there is a multitude of ways you could have brought out the troops on Sunday, and you chose a very bad lineup to go. But just like you said, let's not jump ahead. I think if you win the morning session, it's cool if you keep that same 8. But to see that Minwoo Lee, a very vibrant player, somebody the crowd was trying to get behind, play Thursday, then play Sunday, I don't know if I go there, my boy. Even if even if he even if he gets out there and loses, you still got the crowd behind somebody that's gonna light a flame. He's still gonna be shot making. He's still gonna be in the mix, and plus it'll give him something to look forward to on Sunday. He's a young guy. We're not talking about energy levels with Minwoo Lee. That's for sure not the case. So yeah, yes, he did blow it. Yeah, 100%. But I mean, Sunday was worse to me.
I agree with you that if you on Saturday don't you lose the morning session 3-1, 3 points to 1, right? So now you're 8 and 6 going into the afternoon. You pull out the
Yeah,
same lineups. Yeah, bro. If you had fought to a draw, you can say that's the right decision, but
right.
clearly that wasn't it, and then you end up losing. Let me pull it up just so I can speak with specificity. Doing the same
Three
thing, you go
one, three
3-1
one.
in the afternoon. Yeah, man. So I agree wholeheartedly. We're definitely blew it with that decision. And then on Sunday, I'm gonna pull up the matchups here because it's a long list. Let's go ahead and roll into Sunday.
Man, Sunday
So,
had me heated, bro.
all right. Hopefully that's big enough. Yeah, that looks pretty prominent. So again, Jason Day also sat, um, you know, all day Saturday. I think that was a mistake. It was not health related. He just looked, I wouldn't say rusty because I mean he played 2 days before, but
Yeah,
not necessarily the sharpest his game has been, right? And we were
yeah,
kind of going back and forth, and we said, my assertion was if Jason Day can actually get out early and put some pressure on Xander, maybe he gets a chance to win that one. Uh, Sam Burns, I love Sam Burns. The guy looks the part. They were touting his putting, heavily this week. I think he's got to tighten up the iron game, and I think he's the next superstar, right? I think if he
yeah,
puts in 2 good off seasons of tightening up his irons off the tee and around the greens, I don't think there's much better than Sam Burns. It's him losing strokes out of the fairway. So, what
yeah.
matchups really pissed you off on Sunday?
Well,
Let's just say what I have presented right here.
I mean, the first thing is what is your strategy here? What are you trying to what are you trying to instill into the group? You got Tom Kim going out second, not first. Why? Jason Day ain't no emotional leader. Jason Day is not the best player. Jason Day isn't even the most experienced President's Cup player. What are you thinking? You got to
Yeah.
go Canadian here. You got to go Tom Kim here. You got to go Matsuyama here. You got to go
Well,
Adam Scott here.
I know Matsuyama ended up winning, but up to that point, Matsuyama had not played very well this week.
But also he didn't get paired up with anybody doing. SJM wasn't doing anything when they played. SJM played better when he was playing with Tom Kim, somebody emotional, somebody fiery, and then he played better. He started out okay, but that's another story. There was a lot of people that really had my heart warm because they showed up and they ended up being dogs. Boy, I tell you what, Russell Henley, um,
Oh yeah, he's the
boy,
glue guy.
oh,
I said that too. That
oh,
the matchup with him and Scottie was very good on Saturday, especially
oh,
that afternoon session. Um,
yeah.
I mean, Russell Henley
Listen,
is a good. He's not the longest off the tee, but he is a good iron player, and he is good on the greens.
he is nails. Oh my goodness, bro. Wedge in his hand, good. Um, yeah, and also Jason Day had nothing to provide for Xander Schauffele after hole two. He
I
made
think that I would love because after the Solheim Cup, we got stories about Suzanne Pedersen and gosh, I'm forgetting her name now, Ewing, and kind of
yeah,
some tension in the locker room. I wonder if something went on between Jason Day and Mike Weir because it just I don't know. For a guy, I know he's not the best player right now, but for a healthy Jason Day, I put him out there more than the 3 times that he got a chance to get out on the greens and then walk the
yeah.
fairways. That seemed a little short sighted to me. He's not a cheerleader. He's a talented player. Let's go to the second half real quick.
He's a lead by example guy for sure. Let me just
I
mention that
definitely
Xander
go ahead.
Schauffele on his own ball was 7 under through 14 holes. Let me just say that, or through 15 holes. Let me just say that. So,
Yeah,
like I said,
he was
Jason Day
on it.
had
He's
nothing
on
to
it.
provide for Xander. Xander
Xander's had a
really, boy,
hell of a
this year,
2024.
oh,
We've said it. If Scottie
yeah, we
Scheffler
have.
didn't have the year that he had,
We'd be,
Xander is the
ooh,
player of the year.
yeah, easily, easily. Yeah,
But
let's move
when
on.
you look at the one-on-one matchups, honestly, I mean, by the time we got to Tony Finau didn't clinch it. It was when did I get the alert?
Keegan Bradley,
It was
right
Keegan
before him.
Bradley. So yeah, the fifth match
The
out
match before him.
was the clutcher, right? So
Yeah.
Match number 5 clutched it for the clinched it for the day. So all these other 6, and I'm just trying to think if there's a fire starter in the bottom half. I put Adam Scott out there, even though he ends up losing. At this point, again, you have to kind of discount the results on the bot once you get to this, and it's already over.
Yeah.
That changes people's mental state and how they go about it. But I definitely put Adam Scott out there. This man has been playing the President's Cup for an
President's Cup.
untold number of years, right? And
Yeah.
has only sat out one session in all of these years. You got to get that man in the first 3 matches. Get the
I think
energy going.
so. Here, if I'm Mike Weir, here's how I do it. If I think Adam Scott's got to go 4, or I don't know, because I feel like you either got to front load with Tom Kim and some emotional leaders going out
Yeah.
first, get the crowd yelling, or you got to go all 3 Canadians in a row. You got to go Matt Hughes, Corey Connors, and then sorry but not sorry. Taylor Pendrith didn't have it this week. He got to go
No.
3rd. We not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We not. I don't know. We not fighting for Taylor Pendrith. But after that,
No. But
then I think it's
Corey
Adam
Connors
Scott.
played his ass off. Like the
Oh my
quality of
God,
golf that I saw from Corey Connors was
Steady
really good.
Eddie.
His
That's
his
why he
his
goes
record
off
may
the
not
tee.
have shown it. His record may not
Agreed.
have reflected that, but the play was there. Just watching the shots, um, he's got it. I
Agreed.
mean,
Yeah,
when he gets going, he gets going.
yeah. I think Mac Hughes got to lead it. I think he's number 1. Corey Connors, Steady Eddie number 2. Then Taylor Pendrith 3. If you go Canadians first, then you get into Tom Kim. You get into Adam Scott. Then you get into Siwoo Kim because Siwoo Kim showed up. That's when you get
Yeah.
into the middle, and then Sung J M, Hideki, Buzin, Christian Bazuntai. He got to be last. I don't know, or Jason Day got to be last. I don't know. Minwoo, he got to be like 7, 8. Ben On, he ain't really do it for me this week.
You get a lot of stuff out of this channel, y'all. A little business knowledge, a little technical golf knowledge, a little BS in here and there. You're in a well-rounded environment. So, uh,
Absolutely.
hit that subscribe button, hit that membership button. We got you covered on all things golf.